My girlfriend moved in with her mom, crossed my boundary in lingerie, then said we're done. I've been with Jen for 4 years. In April, we got 2 big wins at once. She found out she was pregnant, and I closed on a small house we planned to fix up and move into. Our families knew. So did her childhood best friend, Amanda. I never liked how Amanda talked to Jen, but she lived far away, so it stayed background noise. Right after the pregnancy news, Amanda moved back to our town. From late May on, things spun up fast. Jen already had some worries about me being a trainer and getting attention at the gym. I always shut that down. Still, Amanda fed those fears and kept telling her to watch me. Jen and I had never done phone checks or location tracking. We always said trust mattered more than proof. Then, out of nowhere, she started asking for my phone every couple of days. She'd scroll through texts, DMs, photos, even group chats. She never found anything. I told her it hurt to be treated like the enemy in my own home. I asked her to put space between her and Amanda and to go to counseling with me. She brushed that off and said I was overreacting. 2 weeks ago, I set a line. One last search, and if she found nothing, we'd start counseling, and she'd step back from Amanda. She agreed and dug through everything while I sat there. Again, nothing. Then she refused counseling and kept hanging out with Amanda. I packed a bag and left. We were on a month-to-month lease while I renovated the new house, so I went to a friend's place. I told her I'd move into the house alone when it was ready. She asked me to stay. I said not without counseling and real boundaries. Space at the apartment was tight, so she started living with her mom. I felt awful for our baby, but I couldn't live inside a search. I went to work, trained clients, swung a hammer at the house at night, and kept showing up for doctor visits. One afternoon we met to talk. She apologized for how she acted when I moved out. She said she'd stop looking through my phone if I came back. She even said she was ready to get engaged after years of putting that off. I asked why she started the searches in the first place. She said she didn't know. She told me she'd seen women try to flirt with me at work and knew I always shut it down. Then she said Amanda's ex cheated behind a clean front, and that got into her head. I said that's exactly why we needed counseling. I asked if she had ever seen even a hint from me toward anyone. She said no. For 6 weeks, she had been checking almost every other day. One night she shook me awake at 2 a.m. to ask for my passcode. I told her this couldn't be our life. I told her I'd never risk my certification or job by crossing lines with a client. She just stared at the table. She laughed about a heart emoji I sent in a family group chat to a picture of her mom's new dress and said she knew that wasn't a thing. I told her again I needed counseling and some distance from Amanda. She said she wasn't ready for either. I told the landlord we would end the lease. She said she'd keep living with her mom. She texted later asking if I was okay with her still watching the private videos I'd made for her. I said yes. After that we kept things civil. I went with her to appointments. We shared updates about the baby and split costs. My ask didn't change. Her answer didn't change either. On my 30th birthday, a weekday, I worked, trained 2 clients, and drove home. I was mid-shower when the doorbell rang. It was Jen with a bag of groceries. She said she wanted to make me dinner. I hesitated. She said, just as a friend. I let her in. We cooked, put on a movie, ate, and kept things light. We joked about old shows we used to watch. After the credits rolled, she went to the bathroom. I started cleaning the kitchen. She came back wearing a lingerie set she knew I liked and put her hands on me. I froze. I stepped back and told her to stop. She smiled and said I looked like I wanted it. I told her again to stop. I took her hands off me and asked her to leave. She looked like she might cry, grabbed her things, and walked out without a word. The house went quiet. The next day I called to talk. No answer. I tried again before the next prenatal visit. She texted me not to come. The following week I called again about the appointment. Same message. Don't come. I sat there with the phone in my hand and no plan for what to do next. On Sunday, she finally picked up. Her first words were, "Who are you cheating with?" I said no one. She asked who I was sleeping with. I said no one. She demanded my phone again. I said no. She started to cry and yelled that I was lying and seeing someone. I told her if you can't trust me after months of checking and finding nothing, then we should figure out how to co-parent. The line went quiet. She took a breath and said, fine, we're done. We'll co-parent. I said okay. She said okay. We ended the call. I stood in the kitchen with the sink still running. I turned off the water and set my phone on the counter. That was the last word on us. Now my family is asking why I won't forgive her. Was I wrong?